Would you guys like to have a sci-fi game where you have a peaceful coexistence with all beautiful and loving creatures? Well, this is not the game for you. Guys, we're taking a look at Stellar Monarch today, an excellent game where you actually get to be your own stellar dictator in a massive, massive universe. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump into a new game. You can see over here that there are different game modes. The Glory of the Empire, where you start with a decent number of planets. I would highly recommend this. We also have the Decline of the Empire, where things start getting a little more difficult for your stellar empire. But right now, we are going to stick with the simplest one. Now, as you can see here, we can actually go ahead and create our empire. And certainly, I think this is a very important part of the game. Keep in mind, you want to try and create an empire that's going to reflect your own political views, or maybe some sort of political views you'd like to test out if they were able to be replicated on a galactic scale. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and take the Lawbringer trait. I've got 4 points here. I'm also going to take the Charismatic trait, and maybe we'll take the Administrator trait. And I'm going to go ahead and clone a new empire. You can also jump into advanced customization for some more specific things. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so first things first, guys, as you take a look here, you can see the size of this massive galaxy. And the blue represents essentially our empire and what we control here. Now, if we take a look at the Empire tab right here, you can see that next turn I'm going to have an audience. Unlike a lot of other spacefaring games, this one is really dependent on what you decide during your audience. You're typically going to have an audience every 10 turns, and when you get that, you're going to be able to respond to a number of different questions, a number of different situations, and it's quite fascinating. You might get an assassin asking you if you'd like him to wipe out a troubling court member, or perhaps you'll get requests to assist in some sort of war. Now, when we go to the court, you can see right here that we actually have government heads, and each of them has their own sort of skill points, I guess you could say. Now, I would say initially loyalty is a very important skill point, and sometimes you're going to get people that are not very loyal, and unfortunately, you probably want to get rid of them. So just as an example here, you can actually demote this courtier, and he'll move 1 point down in the department hierarchy, and the second person in that department will take his place. We can also banish him entirely, but that's going to cost us political points, or we can even bribe him to change a faction. Currently, we don't really know what faction we want to follow. We'll start to discover that as we move on, but I believe there are 5. Now, if we go into edicts, guys, we can also decide what our civilization is going to be like. And I like for justice, I like the People's Court. Now, I do think that developer selected something funny for the People's Court here. The incompetent fool selected for the population carries justice. I wish you would change that to something a little less biased. It does seem very biased. I think, yes, of course, the People's Court has its negatives, but it also maybe has its positives. And over here, magistrate justice is issued swiftly by the magistrate, with fines going to the Imperial Treasury. And the Patriotic Court, where traitors shall be prosecuted first. So I think we're going to go ahead and select the People's Court, just because I would like to try it out. And we can also change our administration, our focus, etc. Now, intelligence-wise, these are the other empires around the actual galaxy. And sometimes we're at war with them, sometimes we're at peace with them. It really depends on how we deal with them as we progress through the game. Over here in the summary, we're going to have basically a summary of all the different weapons we have, the governors we have, the courtiers, and even the rebels fighting against us. And over here we have, of course, victory points. On the top screen, you see the finances bar, where you can actually set taxes, you can control your budget, and also control your contracts. So over here, for instance, if I want to increase the Imperial Palace, and actually add some Imperial Guards and increase my prestige, I can go ahead and select that. But that's going to cost us just a bit. Industry-wise, we can also put our focus on a number of different things. In this case, I want to focus on mining, so I'm going to put a very high focus on mines, and hopefully that's going to continue. Research-wise, really what you get to do is select your primary focus, and you want to go ahead and queue different focuses. So in this case, maybe we can take maneuvering boosters, for instance, the industrial plan, we can add that to queue. So we'll go ahead and let's select here the theory of energy. So obviously you have to unlock these before you can unlock the next list in the queue. It just kind of gives you an idea of what you can do. And then we have the fleet, guys. Now, this is quite a fascinating part. Each of our fleets has its own commander. And just like your political, or unlike your political commanders, with these guys, as far as I know, you can't just remove them. But you can go ahead and purchase more ships in the fleet, and you can actually select where the fleet attacks. Most of the actual, how could I say this? Most of the game is actually dictated by the AI, which I enjoy. In other words, most of the game, you simply, give your edicts, tell your people how you'd like your galaxy to be run, essentially, and you only have to do the very minute details of maybe selecting a planet, for instance, like Ariadne here. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ariadne. Oh, wait, that's not working. And as you can see here, we can start to colonize this planet for 2,250 credits. This is going to take a while. It's not going to immediately happen. Another thing we could do if we wanted to is we could start to attack another planet from another faction. And to do that, we have to issue a conquest order. And in this case, it's owned by the Corians. They're civilized, and I don't necessarily want to go to war with them. Well, okay, guys, so let's end the turn and see what happens. As you guys can also see, the next era is in 28 turns. Everything you do in this era is going to have a lot to do with what happens in the next era as you go into it. So you want to make sure to make the right decisions, or as good of decisions as possible. So for instance, if I take this planet and colonize it during this era, then next era I'm going to have a claim on that planet. It's just one of the many important things here about, moving on from era to era. So here we go, guys. We have an audience, and as you can see, we've got a number of people here that wish to speak to us. So tip of the day, do you have a lot of spare cash? Don't forget you can spend credits on additional budget items. So this is just a tip. I highly recommend any new players take a look at that. We also have questions here directly related to the storyline. My liege, by visiting an alien museum, one of your ambassadors has found out some very disturbing data. An ancient text that says our galaxy is invaded once every 10,000 turns by some unknown aliens. Those brutes, as the text claims, don't desire to conquer us but to eradicate us from existence. All of us, sentient beings. We made initial calculations and it adds up. I urge you, my liege, to pursue this matter further. So we could go ahead and buy those archives for 3,000 credits, or we can try and investigate it a bit further. As far as I understand, we don't have much money, or we could try to steal the archives. And what that would do is minus 5% relations to every single other race, but I think I'm going to do that. So I'm stealing the archives. We found something suspicious about the royal cloning tanks. The Council of Royal Genetics seems to be unaware. So we could go ahead and inform CRG, or we could investigate on our own. And the interesting thing here is you have the list of traitors uncovered. Absolutely want to get these traitors, or they could absolutely take you out of the Imperial throne. So in this case, I'm going to trust CRG to do the right thing. The assassin. An assassin was caught by your loyal and competent Imperial Palace Guard. Excellent. Another event here, guys. Prominent persona from the Traditionalist faction was found stealing funds. Let's support the Traditionalists. So we could actually order a financial audit, which is just amazing. Or we could cover it up. So I'm actually going to cover it up for them, and that's going to get us some respect with the Traditionalist faction. Due to the incompetence of some people in the Treasury Department, our Imperial accounting system allows creative accounting. The creativeness of the accounting means that money goes to the governor's pockets. We could fix it properly, or fix it quickly, or just say it's sad, and right now we unfortunately really don't have the money to do anything. Dissident organization detected. Our agents from the Brave Internal Affairs Department found out a dissident organization. Those shady personas might talk and might determine what the Empire make talk that might undermine the Empire itself. Dyslexia much? And I don't have dyslexia, but I don't usually struggle there. How do we deal with them? All right, so we could arrest and prosecute them. We could find the leaders, or shouldn't you focus on protecting me instead? I like this. So this is one of the events you can obviously get, is the Emperor being poisoned. This gives us 30% immunity for that, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Because it can certainly happen if you lose respect with your people. Now over here we have a diplomatic issue with an alien. One of our ambassadors made a great impression during a banquet in the VIX Collective. How do we use this opportunity? Let's send the head of foreign affairs as a permanent consul for even better results, so we could potentially improve our relations with this race by 10%. Let's do it. Send him over there. He's probably not going to like being on a different planet, but that is the way it is. At the dawn of the new era, we can review our policy. All right, so we're going to request a review of our governors, guys, and we will be getting that next turn. So essentially, we'll have some information about these governors, whether they're loyal or not, etc. If you guys take a look at the planets, we're going to keep on trying to colonize planets around us. And let's see if there's been any difference, any change here in Tasirak, if it's been colonized at all. Sorry, Ariadne. So as you can see here, the colonization process is at 26%. And each turn that's going to grow. It's now at 51%. But as you can see over here, we have another issue. And that is that there is some danger that this guy is going to try and jump into our system. We could go ahead and order strategic bombardment using our fleets to basically lower the amount of enemies that we're going to have to fight, or we could issue a conquest order. But this is just one of the many things you can do in this game. I mean, there is so much potential here. I really do see a tremendous amount, and I would love to play some more and just kind of see where this goes. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this first look video on the game. I really want to thank the developer for providing me a copy. I typically, this is not a review, so I'm not going to tell you whether you should or shouldn't buy this game. This really is a first look. When a developer gives me a copy, I don't generally like to do a review just because I don't want to give, I don't want it to seem like I'm giving preferential treatment to anybody. But I really do enjoy this. I mean, and again, I think you need to really enjoy political-based games. You need to enjoy being a total dictator, a power-hungry maniac. And if you like those things, this might be the game for you. I would absolutely recommend you guys take a look at it, and thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. If you're not already subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe here for more strategy games, and please also click that Twitch link down below and subscribe to our Twitch channel as well for our live streams. Catch you on the next one, friends.